Well, hey there, sweet spirit, and welcome to this week's episode of Urban Shamanism with me, Steffi Funk, where I give you the sacred tools for an extraordinary life in the concrete jungle. With that, let's dive right into today's topic, which is workability. Now, workability is a concept that means that your life is working for you instead of you working for it. And I'm going to give you the secret sauce to workability. It is discipline. And I know that discipline isn't the sexiest topic, but I promise to make you fall at least a little bit in love with discipline today. And I'm going to give you 5 tips for harnessing the current astrology, which is super potent for drawing discipline into your life that is going to create structures for workability. So key as we head into this new decade that's filled with intentions and affirmations and a lot of resolutions, right? So with that, let's dive right in. Here are my 5 tips for workability in your life. Number 1, pick your hard, okay? So discipline is not easy. However, not discipline is also not easy. So I want to give you an example. I have a crazy sugar addiction, right? So what does that look like? Discipline means not eating sugar. Not easy, right? Well, what does the other side of that look like? Eating sugar. But I don't just eat a little, I eat a lot. And that leaves me feeling horrible. It messes with my mind. I don't feel good in my jeans. I wake up the next day. I feel honestly like I'm on some sort of crack. So pick your hard, right? Either way, it's hard, but which is a little less hard? It's actually less hard for me not to eat the sugar than it is for me to eat the sugar and feel all the shit that goes along with it. And I'll give you another little hint just on the topic of sugar. I am not completely sugar-free. What my discipline is I just have a little square of dark chocolate at the end of the night. Like for me, dark chocolate isn't my favorite binge-worthy sugar item. So it allows me to get that sweet treat without going overboard. So it's a really nice way that I have found discipline in my sugar habit. So think about what this might mean for you. Another example is my kid, right? So recently she had pink eye and I was using essential oils on her pink eye, which were totally working. And then she started complaining about me putting the oils around her eye. By the way, I didn't put them in the eye, just total tangent. It was not oils in the eye. I just was rubbing them on her eye bone around her eye. But she's 5. She kind of hated it. Probably didn't hate it as much as she would have hated eye drops, but she doesn't get that. So she started complaining and I stopped doing it. Well, the pink eye came back, right? So even in terms of disciplining our kids, we always are vacillating between happy child and healthy child, right? So in that moment, I could have picked my hard to say, you know what, you're not going to be the happiest kid, but I'm going to still apply these oils because that to me is less hard than having to continue to deal with pink eye. Okay, so some different examples for how that might show up in your life. So number 1, pick your hard. Number 2, schedule your self-care in first. So as you are looking at your calendar, self-care requires a lot of discipline, but we know that we can't give unless we have a full cup. So what that might look like is scheduling in your meditation time in the morning, scheduling your workout time in the evening, scheduling in perhaps your daily sleep. Oh my gosh, I'm a huge sleep hygiene fan. I think sleep is super important. So schedule in all of those things first and then schedule everything else that you have to do around that. I guarantee if you are disciplined with your self-care, you will have so much more energy for all the other things that you want to create in your life. So just put it first. Okay, tip number 3. What feels shitty to you and how can you outsource it? So another really important aspect of discipline is identifying what's not working for you in your life. So what's not workable? And anytime something is not workable, stress is a great indicator that something is not workable in your life. It means that you are out of integrity with yourself. It generally means you have committed to something that is not yours to do in reality. So start thinking, how can I outsource this? How can I or offload it completely, or just plug the energy leak and get it out of your life. I recently was talking to a friend who has decided to bring in a house cleaner And I applauded her for just getting really clear that that was not the best use of her time and talents. And to be able to offload that and just say, yes, it's an expense. And all that it's going to free up for her and what she's going to be able to create and do will give that back to her family times 10. So completely worth it. So just start thinking, what can you outsource? What can you offload? What can you start saying no to? Okay, next one, bold requests. So often we forget that we can ask for help, right? So I want you to consider, as tip number 4, making a bold request. What can you ask for in your life that, if done for you, would make a huge difference? Like for me, I have the benefit of being married to a chef. However, my chef wasn't really contributing too much to the dinners around the house. And so, because he has so much other stuff going on, right? But it's so easy for him to grocery shop and prep and create dinners. So my bold request for my chef husband is, hey honey, can you take over and take on meal planning for us for the week? Because I'm frankly not that good at it. And I feel like shit when I don't eat well. And so I get to think about, okay, for me, what's gonna make me feel good? Good nutrition. How can I call that in? What's the discipline or the structure that I can create there? I can make a bold request to ask my husband to help. And he's open to that, right? So start thinking about, what bold requests can you make in your life? And you really are gonna have to get out of your comfort zone on this, because we so often take for granted, I'll just do it myself, that we are so out of the habit of thinking about what we can ask for. And number 5 is, pick your word for 2020 and make all decisions based on that word. So you might have guessed my word for 2020 is workability. And that makes everything so simple. When I get asked to do something, an invitation to go somewhere, or a project that someone wants me to participate in, I can simply ask myself, does this work for me? And if the answer is no, I simply say no. If the answer is yes, I say yes. You see how simple that is? Perhaps your word is simplicity. So again, you just run it by your simplicity barometer. Is this simple or is this not simple? Or maybe your word is expansion. Does this feel expansive? Does this not feel expansive? And so pick your word and make all your decisions based on that word, and that will automatically create the structures for discipline in your life. Okay, so today you learned 5 tips for creating discipline in your life, which is a devotion to workability. Now I want to give you a little put this into action idea, and I invite you to go ahead and take action on this weekend. So as I mentioned, this weekend is the winter solstice. The winter solstice is such a potent time to release what no longer serves and to call in anything that you want. And remembering that it is Capricorn season, and Capricorn is all about discipline. Capricorn allows you to leverage discipline for creating growth and expansion in your life. Capricorn reminds us that yes, there is hard work involved, and we can do hard things, and that hard work pays off. So Capricorn season and Jupiter and Capricorn for the next year is all about really directed effort, but that directed effort paying off, and discipline paying off, and hard work paying off. So let's leverage this weekend solstice to kind of summarize everything we just talked about and let go of what we want to let go of, call in the discipline and structures we want to call in, and then decide what we want to fill that beautiful container we've created with. So here's what I suggest you do. This Saturday, maybe even in the evening, since it's, sort of like under the cover of night, you're gonna get some sage, some Palo Santo, and some sweetgrass. And into the sage, you're gonna whisper your prayers of everything that you wanna let go of. So again, what's not working for you? Just, is it workable? Yes or no? If it's not, whisper it into the sage. These are all my prayers, Great Spirit, that I want to release. Then burn the sage. Then into the Palo Santo, whisper in all your prayers for the disciplines that you want to call in. So perhaps that's a meditation time each morning and an exercise time each night, and not eating sugar or only eating dark chocolate, for 2020 or whatever it is, and call all those disciplines in so that you can leverage the potency of the winter solstice. We know discipline's not easy, so why not make it a little bit easier and call in that potency of the winter solstice to help create those structures for you, because it is so, so good at that. And I bet if you check back in on these things by the summer solstice, you're going to see a huge shift from where you are today if you plant those intentions this weekend. And then the final thing is, into that sweet grass, you're going to whisper everything you now want to fill that beautiful container with that you've just structured with your disciplines. So perhaps you want to call in more abundance, or more love, or the love of your life, or great friendships and connections, or a fabulous new career, or whatever it is. Go ahead and call that into the sweetgrass. Sweetgrass is so beautiful for calling in anything that's like really sweet and in line with our highest and best, and burn that. So burn all three of those. Let the smoke be the prayers that go off into the energy of spirit and the winter solstice to deliver to you exactly what is going to make your life work for you. So now I'd love to hear from you below. Which of the tips from today is your favorite? I wish you so well in implementing these containers into your life, these structures, these disciplines that are your devotion to workability. Make your life work for you. With that, I can't wait to see you on next week's episode of Urban Shamanism. I will see you then. Have a great winter solstice.